What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, it's the one that means the most to me all year. It is the Arkansas Derby live from Oaklawn Park coming up this Saturday. Of course, without Oaklawn Park, there wouldn't be a Racing Dudes. This is where we kind of started in the business, kind of learned the game down there at Oaklawn. We'll be live at Oaklawn coming to you as well. Jared Welch, Ryan Stillman, and I will be live. So if you're there, come by and say hi. But let's get to the preview of this season. I'll put it up on the screen. Field of 9 coming up here for the Arkansas Derby, and it should be a good one. $1.5 million here, going a mile and an eighth. So, you know, a little bit of as a step up in distance for the last time here down at Arkansas. It'll be race 13 on the card. Let's get it going. Like I said, field of 9. We can get through a lot of them pretty quickly. Going to be a big shock if some of these horses win. Starting with Brereton's Baytown, we'll start with him first. He was 8th in the Rebel Stakes last time out. He was running in the Rebel Stakes off of a claiming victory in his last start. So, again, total throwout here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this one. Not trying to be rude or anything, but just don't think this one factors in. Let's go to number 2, First Division. He's next in this one. I'm not going to pick him. Yeah, this is a pretty nice Indiana bred here for Kenny McPeak. Brian Hernandez gets the call. Horse won on debut at Oaklawn Park and then was third in an allowance race where Authentic Gallop and McDude finished ahead of them. Authentic Gallop, not a great horse, but he did, go to try to run in the West Virginia Derby. He didn't do much. And then second in an allowance race last time out, Best Friend Rocket, the winner. Best Friend Rocket is in this race. And if you want to play something out of that allowance race, maybe it is Best Friend Rocket you want to look at. But look, First Division, respectful horse. I'll be interested to see if they take him to Indiana and what happens because, like I said, it's a pretty nice Indiana bred by Omaha Beach out of a Street Sense mare. Pretty good. Kind of like this horse. Just don't really like him today. Same with the number 3 Publisher. He was kind of the wise guy horse last time out in the Rebel, despite the fact he's never won a race. And, he ran okay. He gets too far behind. He has to come with a big run at the end. Just that lack of early speed, unless you're a Sierra Leone or, a Red Route 1, even who won last weekend, won the Essex. I mean, even those horses sometimes struggle to win. I just saw Sierra Leone has lost a lot. It's just with lack of speed, it does become tough. Now, the 2 races last week, speed kind of fell apart. Yeah, Publisher may look good. Maybe gets up and hits the board. I just don't think it's going to happen here. I really don't. I just think they need to run this horse in a maiden special weight. But Steve Ashman trying to get another one to the Derby. Maybe he can do it. All right, let's keep going here. Number 4, Best Friend Rocket. We just talked about him. He was he was first to First Division last time out, where First Division was second in that allowance race. He's won 2 allowance races in a row, one at Laurel Park, and then was moved to D. Wayne Lucas, and then one right here at Oaklawn Park. I'm like another one that we talked about this, last week. Sometimes when Lucas has a horse you don't think has much of a shot, they end up running really well and they win. And then when you have a horse like Caldera, who form looks like, well, maybe he doesn't win, but he's going to run really well, they don't. So I'm kind of like, I don't think this one's good enough. So he'll probably run a good race, but I'm not going to support him in this spot. Number 5 is Speed King. I think last time out, they just kind of saw, you got to just send him. Just send this horse to the front. They tried to kind of rate him off the speed. Matticat Road was going too fast, but Speed King, that just wasn't his game. He was 10th, beaten 15. Send him to the front, see what happens. I don't think he's good enough in this spot. I really don't. But if he gets the lead, could he stick around and hit the board? I think absolutely. I think the pace dynamic is going to make this race. It's going to be him and Cornucopian. Those are the only 2 I see with any real speed in this race at all. I can't imagine them getting into a duel. You got to think one jockey or another is going to be able to kind of sit off. I think it's got to be Speed King to the front, Cornucopian sitting just off the throat lash. If they go fast, maybe he backs off. If they're going, 46 and change, maybe he's right there just kind of sitting 47 and change. They're right together, but I don't think they'll get into a duel. And look, here it's a situation. Say Speed King doesn't break well or Cornucopian doesn't break well. I think you've got a lonely leader by about 3 lengths in this spot, and then it becomes tough. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I do think they'll just send him to the front. I do think he can hold on for a piece of it. I just don't know about the whole thing. Number 6 is Sandman, the horse everybody loves that never wins. I shouldn't say that. He's won 2 out of 7, but he's kind of blown it in the Southwest. A lot of it wasn't his fault. Some of it was horrible trip, second, beating a length. Last time out in the Rebel, it's just what he's going to do. He's going to go from last and try to make a run, or close to last and try to make a run. I just kind of laid it out. I'm not sure the speed is really going to fall apart in this race unless the 5 and 9 really do battle. So I don't really see where he turns the corner and actually wins here. I think distance will help, and so that could be a positive for him. But I just think he's always going to be a little overbet and a little overrated. Until he proves me differently, I'm going to stick with that stance. But again, he could hit the board for sure. I just don't like him to win in this one. Monet's Magic will keep us rolling here. The 7 horse coming in off of a 5th place effort in the Southwest Stakes. Did win 2 in a row here. One at Oaklawn and one at Churchill before that. He's not for me. He's a decent horse. I could see this horse maybe, we look up at some point and he's looking really good in a race like the Indiana Derby or the Iowa Derby or something like that. The Matt Winn, I just think he needs a little bit easier spot, but he's not bad. He's just kind of not for me in this spot. So I kind of took a pass on him. The number 8 is Cold Battle. We'll talk about him quite a bit. He's been just phenomenal. 5 for 5 when racing on the dirt. His 2 losses came on the turf. So let's look at it. The 3 Kentucky Derby prep races, the Remington Park Springboard Mile, he wins by half. The Smarty Jones, he wins by 4, and the Rebel Stakes, he wins by a length and a quarter. So look, he's just simply proven to be the best horse on this circuit, without a doubt. And very, very rarely do you see a horse come down here and win 3 prep races. And that's what he's going to try to do, and win 4 prep races in a row. That is really, really impressive. He's now earned over $1 million. And look, I like his versatility. He can kind of do whatever. He just kind of runs the same race, and wherever that falls for him, as far as where he's positioned in the race, that's kind of what he does. He listens to the jockey incredibly well. When they ask him to run, he does it, and he does it every time. I have not picked him once in this 3-race win streak that he's on. I did pick him down at Delta when he won, but not that anybody would really care about that. But I like Delta. But anyway, the next 3, at Remington, I didn't really have much respect for him, to be honest. I did have respect for him in the Smarty Jones, but I thought, I don't know if that he'll get it done today. The Rebel, I had him in the top 4, but it's just like I just couldn't get there. I'm maybe stupidly going to do it again. It'd be unbelievable if a horse comes down here and win 3 Oaklawn prep races, my home track, and I never pick him. I just don't think he's as good as the number 9 Cornucopian, and that's who I'm going to pick to win this race. So spoiler alert already, but he ran the fastest 6 furlongs for a maiden special weight restricted to 3-year-olds at Oaklawn in the history of the track. So that's a really good place to start. Heard a lot of hype on him coming into the race. He just kind of ran fast and just buried him. Buried this field. So, look, got to stretch out to 1 1/8 of a 6 furlong race. That's going to be a question mark. The pedigree from this horse we'll see, relation to Gamine, who could not go, past about a mile. So that could be a problem as well. I think my big thing with him is I just don't think if 1 1/8 was a worry, a problem or whatever, his trainer is not sending him here, right? He has other horses that he could take to Arkansas and probably win this race. So I just think the fact that he's entered is such a good sign that Baffert really loves him and thinks he's a monster. And I'm not going to doubt Bob Baffert. It's just that simple. I think Barnes was supposed to come here, and I think Cornucopian just absolutely is looking better than Barnes in the mornings leading up to these races. And I think that's why he's here. So I can't go against him. I'm going to go number 9 Cornucopian on top. I could not have been more impressed. I remember texting a few people right after that race because the phone blew up after Cornucopian's maiden. I said, that's Baffert's most talented horse. I don't have any doubt. And I say it with 1,000% confidence. That's his most talented horse. I don't know if he can make the Derby. I don't know if he can stretch out to 1 1/8. None of these things, he's such a late starter, February 23rd. I don't know, but I can tell you, I know talent when I see it. And maybe the talent doesn't stretch to 1 1/8, but I'm going to tell you, this is a superstar. And maybe that superstardom comes in a mile or even 6 furlong races. Maybe that happens. I don't expect that. 6 furlongs, but maybe that happens. He's a star. I'm going to tell you, he is a star. So we'll see what happens with him. We'll see if he can get the job done. I'm pretty excited about him. I will say this. I'm not going to single him because I just cannot single that horse with that unknown of can he stretch out, and it's only 1 start, but I'm going to play him to win. So we'll see what happens with Cornucopian. It's going to be interesting. He adds a ton of intrigue into this race. And like I said, you got Cold Battle, who's pretty darn good. And if he goes out there and beats Cold Battle, we know he's really probably pretty damn good if he was able to beat him and beat him kind of handily. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go number 9, Cornucopian, to win this year's version of the Arkansas Derby. All right, guys, that'll do it for our preview of the Arkansas Derby. Click that like button if you like the video. Click subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted if we do more. I'm butchering this one. If we do more previews like this, you'll get alerted every time we do it. All right, guys, thanks everybody for watching this video. And most importantly, come see us at Oaklawn Park, and good luck if you're playing Oaklawn on Saturday.